Hello there, YouTube fam, and a very warm welcome to you on this episode of the Lockdown Lowdown. If you're not part of my YouTube fam yet, you're very welcome to be, so go ahead and hit the subscribe button, and why not hit the bell sign too, so you can get regular notifications every time great episodes like this one are out. Well, I am delighted today because joining me for this episode is the very beautiful and exceptionally talented Shelley Vinson-Bullock. We had her husband Shonlock open the first series of Lockdown Lowdown. Remember that? That was a cool episode. Well, they say behind every successful man is a strong woman. Well, she's strong indeed, but her strength lies in her calm and caring nature. A super creative individual who's written short stories, songs, and music. She's also a brilliant singer and has a long-running girl group with her sisters called V3. That's the letter V and the number 3, so go check them out. As if that wasn't enough, guess what? She has her own publication company, her hand in a few different businesses, and is mother to 4 beautiful kids, ranging from teenage to toddler. When I look at Shelley, I'm blown away and mostly left wondering, how does she do it all? Well, hopefully she'll let us in on some of her secrets today. But one thing is no secret. She loves God, and I can only imagine that that's where she gets this incredible power to be a light to her family and a light to the community. Here she comes. Shelley, thanks so much for being on this episode. It's wonderful to see you.
Thank you for having me. I feel so honored and blessed to meet you finally and to get to talk to you face to face virtually.
Absolutely. Virtual hug.
Yes. Yes.
It's such a pleasure and honor for me. Had to have you on an episode because I see you, without you realizing, there are so many people who are watching and are getting such encouragement and strength through just your honesty and just your character and you living your life out every day. So thank you, and please keep continuing on, keep doing what you're doing because it's helping so many of us, and it's an honor and privilege really to have you. So thank you for being on this episode.
Thank you so much.
Of course, we had your awesome, excuse the pun, husband start off. Yeah. He started the series off, the first one, and so I thought it's only right that everyone gets to see this incredible lady he's gnarly about. I can't help it. I got to throw in the fun there.
Yeah, but here I am.
Here you are. In case you didn't know, guys, gnarly is Shelley's very own song, so she can add that to her list of wonderful, amazing things about her, that she has her own song, Gnarly with a G.
Yes.
Check it out on Spotify.
Yes.
Yeah. So we know, we've heard the intro, how incredible you are, and you have just this great sense of creativeness. You're a writer, you have your own publication company, SVB Publications. Check them out. And you've got your girl group as well with your sisters, V3. You're a singer. You've written poems, songs, music, short stories. You have your book out, and I know you've got your hand in a few different businesses as well, your own incredible YouTube channel. So undoubtedly you are a creative type.
Yes.
So we see you today, we know that, okay, this is Shelley today, incredible wife and mother to 4 beautiful children, Akio, rather. Got to pronounce it right. Akio, Kaden, and the beautiful little Miss Anaya. But take us back to before all of that. How did you discover this creativity? How did it come out? Was it a childhood thing? What happened? How did this gift develop in you, and how did you discover it?
Wow, that is a long story, but I'll give you the short version. I was creative as a child. I always loved to make up stories and play pretend in my room. I have five older sisters, actually. So I'm the youngest, and they would all be like kind of doing their thing. And I would just be in my room, like making up stories and playing with my dolls and writing little songs and doing things like that. And we're a very musical family. My mother is actually a writer, she's a musician. Um, and she writes as well. So I think that's where I get my creative side from, because she's a great storyteller. She's a great speaker. She's just an awesome woman of God. Honey, I'm sorry.
No, come in and say hello. Don't hide.
Oh my God. Okay, he'll say hi after he comes.
No worries. Just keeping it real.
Yes. But this is what's going on in the pandemic, guys. My family is here, so if you hear anything random or see anything random, it's just where we are. So, yeah, but as a child, I watched my mom do a lot of creative things, and she would teach us her little songs that she would write. That's actually how we learned how to harmonize, is from her teaching us her songs. And we were just always like together and musical. And I think that creativity kind of just flowed down to all of us sisters. And so we're all creative in our own way. But me, I kind of took after her in the writing portion. I just love to write down my feelings, to write down what was going on around me. I used to just write songs or poems about things that I was going through, like in school and stuff like that, because it became just a way for me to express myself, because I was actually bullied in school a lot. And so, yeah, it happened. Mm-hmm. So writing for me just became like an outlet, like a way for me to escape and to kind of be in my own world. And I would just express myself through poems, songs, whatever. And it actually gave me, a lot of self-confidence as I grew up, just writing. And it also was a way that I developed in my communication with God, was just by writing to him, and I still do that now. I get my pen and my notebook and I journal and I write to God, and it's just kind of a thing that we have together. That's our communion time together. So writing has always been a big part of my life, creating anything. I loved acting even as a child. So I would, make up little plays and do things like that. My husband actually helped me with developing video content. Like, I learned a lot about developing video content and working with video through meeting him, actually, because he used to edit videos when he was younger. So he taught me a lot of what I know about how to edit. And so I don't know. I've just always loved to be creative. And I'm a very hands-on person. So I don't like to just always depend on other people to do stuff for me. Like, I'll come up with a way to do it myself. That's just how I am. So yeah, it's just been me from a child. Like, I just have always loved being creative.
Yeah, that's awesome. And going back to what you said about how when you were bullied at school, it gave you an outlet to work on your creativity and write about it. And that reminds me of so many such talented individuals. Like, you see them all the time on like America's Got Talent, American Idol, and like they have this hard experience, but they managed to turn it around. And it seems to me that's what you've done as well. So hats off to you for doing that. You mentioned how you met Shonlock and
Mhm.
Dijon officially, but like his stage name is Shonlock. And
Yeah.
yeah, through him kind of editing videos back in the day. So tell us a
Mhm.
little bit more about that. How did you guys actually meet?
Well, we met because me and my sisters have a group, two of my sisters. We're in a singing group called V3. And at the time that we met, we were in like a writing and recording phase. So we were writing and recording songs and like kind of just developing our writing chops and going into the studio a lot. And we started singing backup for an artist named Demita Chandler. And at the time, her name was Demita Haddon. Her and her husband Dietrich Haddon are
Love him like
gospel.
you. Well, how does the
Yeah,
song
yeah.
go? You know the one.
Love
Love
him
him
like I
like I
do.
do.
I
That's it.
love him like I do.
That's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah. So at the time when they were married, they had a music career, and she was coming out with her first solo project. So we started singing backup for her just to kind of learn the business. And I would encourage anybody who wants to pursue any type of music career to get behind the scenes in some way and just kind of learn the business, because it definitely opens your eyes to some things and really helps you. So we were singing backup for her, and we had an opportunity to actually perform with her on the Stellar Awards.
Wow.
And so
Is that on YouTube? Can we see that anywhere? Sorry to,
I
to
don't know. It was
interject
so
there.
long ago. It was so long ago. I don't know where it is now. It could be on
Sure.
YouTube.
But I know you guys have a fantastic YouTube channel for your band, for V3. So guys, check it out, because they have the most fantastic and fabulous videos out there. Like, they're proper high budgeted. At least that's what they what they come across as. And like, I saw this one when it's kind of like almost like an apocalyptic kind of intro, which is so cool. But yeah, check them out. In fact, I'll put like a link in the video description, and a button, a click button as well, to the channel. So you guys check them out.
Yeah. So we were, at the time, I have to try to find that Stellar Awards video. If I find it, I'll link it to you. But we were singing backup. We were rehearsing at our church, and she actually brought in background dancers to be a part of the performance. And Shawn was one of the dancers. So he started out like doing choreography for a lot of different artists. So he was actually dancing for her. So we rehearsed with him, and that's how I first met him. When we met, I said, "Hi, how are you?" I think I introduced myself, and that was pretty much it. We didn't talk the whole time because, I was being professional. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wasn't looking at him or anything like that. But my sister actually was like, "Hey, that guy's kind of cute." And I was like, "Really?" Like, I didn't even notice. You know what I'm saying? And she was like, "Yeah, he's kind of cute, actually." And lo and behold, the night that we were supposed to perform for the Stellar Awards, she actually cut out the dancers. So Shawn didn't end up dancing, but he still was there at the Stellar Awards. And I didn't know it, but the moment that he saw me, like, he knew that he really, liked me. And I had no clue, and he said when we were rehearsing at our church, the thought came to his mind, like, could you marry her? And he was like, wow, you know what I mean? And from there, like I said, I only introduced myself to him. I didn't talk to him again, but he got my number from my sister and actually called the house. And then we ended up meeting up one night because him and a friend came into town to Atlanta, and we met up with them and went to the movies. And that was kind of when he told me that he actually liked me. And I was like, what? Like, how did that happen? I didn't even talk to you. You know what I mean? And then from there, like, the rest is history. We started talking on the phone and emailing each other, and, the relationship just kind of grew from there.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's such a beautiful story, and it sounds like he had his pursuit out from the very beginning, which is
he
wonderful.
did.
Yeah,
He
and that's what
did.
you want to see. You want to see godly guys, pursuing godly girls, and guys, let that be a lesson to you. Look at this wonderful example of a wonderful family, and
Yeah.
I think that's great because I think some guys like we need to push him in the right direction a little bit.
Mhm.
So I think it's good for others to hear how Shonlock was very very clear about what he
Yes.
wanted and went after that. And
Yes.
I'm glad that he did.
Yes.
Yes.
He pursued me. He actually, because we were long distance, he lived
Yeah.
in Nashville at the time, and I live in Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia. So he would come back and forth to see me. He would drive. And I never drove once to see him the whole time we were recording. Like, he always came back and forth to see me. He pursued me. He talked to my parents. Like, he was very, you know what I mean? Like, so ladies, if you're single, you have to watch the actions of the person who's actually pursuing you and see if they're really serious, if they mean business, and make it a little difficult for them. Don't make it so easy for them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Make them do the work. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Make them pursue you and show you how serious they are about you, and that was one of the things that really blessed me about him, is that he showed and proved that he was serious about me and that it wasn't a game.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
wonderful. And
Yeah.
I feel we really need to hear this message in our generation because it's the social media age, and you see this all the time, like DMs, like the odd, but this is old school, and some things just need to stay old school because that's God's design and that's God's best. So yeah, I hope all the single folk out there are listening. Yeah, great. And also, just stemming off from that creativity, tell us a little bit more about your book. So Shonlock mentioned it a little bit in the episode he was on, but there's nothing quite like hearing it right from the author's mouth, right? So tell us more about your book.
My book is called My Prayer, and it's one of many books that I've written. But I always like to write like children's stories and things like that. But when I actually had children, it sparked the creativity in me even more because of the experiences that I was having with them. So I actually started to create little short stories based off of the experiences that I had with them. So my first book is called My Prayer. It's probably backwards, but this is what it looks like. And it's actually based off of an experience I had with my firstborn son, Kyan. The character even looks like him when he was little. And, when we would talk about how to pray, how to communicate with God.
That's lovely. So colorful. And the illustrations are great. And I love how it's like hardback and kind of soft as well, because that's so important with little ones. And so where can our viewers find it? Like, where can we get it? Because there's nothing better to do during a lockdown. We're still in a lockdown here in Ireland than to, like get cozy with your kid and, open that beautiful book up and spend that quality time. So where can they go to buy it?
You can actually go to my website, which is svblife.com. So it's svblife.com. My initial Shelley Vinson-Bullock. So svblife.com. And if you are okay with digital copies, it's also on Amazon. And it's also on Apple Book. Actually, on Apple Book, there is a read-along version. So my son Akio did the voiceover for the read-along version. So that's on Apple Books. You can download that. Yeah.
Clearly takes after his parents and is not afraid of getting that in the mic. That's fantastic. Cool.
Yeah.
I'll link in your website in the video description as well, guys, so you can check it out there. Fantastic. So, we see you've got this fantastic YouTube channel, and I'd like to talk more about that. And again, guys, there'll be a click through button after the video so you can check it out there, and I'll link it into the video description as well, because that's how I really got to know more about you. It was through your YouTube channel. And thank you so much for doing that, because we just get to see you living your life. You know, you're clearly a busy lady. You've got these, you know, different businesses going on. You've got your, you know, your writing, and you've got your publication company. You've got your group with your sisters as well, and you've got 4 kids, and you know, a husband, a family to look after. And what I love about it is you're so calm, and I know that's not what's going on in the background. Like, I'm pretty sure it gets chaotic. It's only normal. We can only imagine that. But you have this really dignified sense of character, and you remain calm, and you remain positive, and that's just so incredible, because you've started this series on your YouTube channel recently. It's called Diagnosis Diaries. And guys, you need to check it out, especially if anyone here is suffering with chronic pain, or you know somebody that is, because for me, it was such an eye-opener. I had the privilege of interviewing Jackie Velasquez last year, and she is one of those people like yourself who you can never tell that she is suffering or in pain on the surface, just full of life, full of joy. But at the end of the day, and you know, behind the scenes, you're going through so much, and just thank you for sharing your story, and thank you for being this incredible light, because you are helping so many people by being brave and being honest. And thank you so much for doing that. So Shelley, can you tell us a little bit more about why you created the series and what's going on at the moment?
Well, I created this series because I actually started my YouTube channel a while ago. It was like 2013, 2014, somewhere around there. And it was just a way for me to have an outlet and just kind of express myself further, because I just love connecting with people. I love connecting with other wives and moms, other women, just everybody. So I was like, you know, I really want to make the YouTube channel, and it just kind of revolved around, you know, my everyday life, blogging with my kids, with my husband, doing hair videos, sending out encouraging videos, talking about God and just my faith. And I never really talked about my illness on the channel. And so recently I actually just felt nudged in my heart and my spirit to really put it out there, because it is a part of my story. And I didn't always like to talk about it because I didn't want people to feel sorry for me, or, you know, if you put it out there that you're dealing with an illness, sometimes people try to give you a remedy. They try to tell you, well, you should do this, you should do that. And I just didn't want to like deal with all of that. And I never lived like a sick person. So I just, you know, I was like reluctant to, and then I didn't like that part of, I guess, the vulnerability of it. But I was like, you know what, this is just a part of my journey. It's not my whole story, but it's a part of my story. So if I can help just one person who may be dealing with what I've been dealing with, or going through a similar situation, I want to do that, because I told God that I wanted him to use me in whatever way possible. And this walk through this illness is actually a great testimony. And I've learned so much, and I've grown so much while going through this. I was like, I can't not tell this story. So I actually started dealing with illness 17 years ago, and it was right after Shawn and I got married. So a lot of our vows were tested like right away, like richer for poor and sickness and health, all those things that you say at the altar will be tested. And ours was within the first year of our marriage. My health declined so much. And it was a really, really hard time for us. It was really difficult. And we had nobody to really talk to about it. Like nobody could identify with where we were. So it was very, very hard for us. And that was another reason why I wanted to create the content, because it was hard for me to find somebody to relate to when I was going through it. And over the years, I've received several different diagnoses, but I've been basically a medical mystery. Like nobody has been able to pinpoint the source of my issues or why it's happening. And it basically just revolved around a lot of neurological issues. Like I started having a lot of weakness, extreme fatigue, just pain, widespread pain, nerve pain. My inability to walk properly was, a big issue. It affects my ability to think cognitively. Like I get a lot of brain fog. It's hard for me to find words. There was just a lot of symptoms that I was having and going through. And I had really bad tremors. I would have episodes like seizures. And so they just could not figure out like what was causing all of it. So they just kind of put me in the category of, okay, well, you have ME/CFS, which is myalgic encephalomyelitis or chronic fatigue syndrome. They told me I had fibromyalgia. They diagnosed me with a movement disorder. And they basically were just like, well, there's nothing we can really do for these things. There's no cure. But I knew that that wasn't it. Like, I was like, there's a source of all of this. And I was like, I just have to keep finding it. And I had to do a lot of research myself because honestly, being a Black woman in the healthcare system, you're the last person that they'll listen to. And it's sad to say, but it's true. So you have to fight really, really hard to be heard. I had a lot of doctors tell me that it was all in my head, that it was a psychological issue, that I was manifesting these symptoms myself. I've had some doctors tell me that I experienced a trauma when I was younger, and this was just the way my body was responding to that trauma. And I was like, what? Do you know something about my life that I don't know? Because I've never experienced a trauma. I've had doctors tell me, well, you're just stressed out, and this is just how your body responds to stress. And so it was hard for people to believe me, but I didn't quit. I didn't stop, and I just kept pursuing answers. And so in the diagnosis diaries, I just basically show my journey to finding the proper diagnosis. So I now know that I have something called cranial cervical instability and Chiari-1 malformation, which is the root source of the ME/CFS, the fibromyalgia, the movement disorder, all the other symptoms that I have stem from a problem with the base of my skull, my brain stem, and the top of my spine. So it was something that doctors missed over and over and over again because I just wasn't going to the right people. And I actually had to seek out a specialist in New York. He's one of the top specialists in this field. And he is the one that took my case. And I didn't have all the measurements that other people have. I didn't have the typical things, signs to look for, but he read through my entire case file. He looked at everything that I said, and he took my case. And he actually, and I know that that was God. I know that that was God. And he was like, he was like, you don't look like my typical patient. He was like, I don't see very many patients that look like you. He said, first of all, you're a Black woman. And so he said that automatically raises a flag because he's like, we don't see a lot of Black women, with these types of health problems. So he was like, that's probably why a lot of people missed it, So I'm just really thankful to God for, come here, babe, say hi. I'm thankful to God for my husband.
Hey, how you doing?
We're doing well. We've been talking about you, haven't we?
Yes, we've been talking about you.
Okay. I can't hear you.
He can't hear you, but he just wanted to say hi. But my husband has been with me every step of the way. He has been my rock. He has been very strong. I know that a lot of this has been very hard for him as well. But he went with me on my trip to New York, as you'll see in the diagnosis diaries, and he kind of got a full explanation of what's been going on. So I feel like both of us, it was just like this big relief because we finally just knew what it was. And for the longest time, we've been in medical limbo, I'll say. But just to finally know was like a relief. And so I encourage everybody out there, if you're dealing with a situation like this, to keep faith. You have a lot of dark days. There are times when you feel completely alone and it's depressing, but keep the faith and don't give up and continue to advocate for yourself. Don't take no for an answer. And if you know that something's going on in your body, because I believe that God is a healer, period. I know that God heals. And I also believe that God works through medicine. Because nothing is a one fix. Like for this situation, there is no cure. They do surgery to help with putting things back in place, and it can help with alleviating a lot of the symptoms you have, but it's not a cure. So ultimately, God has to do the work. But I believe that He works through physicians. He works through doctors as well. So I'm just glad to share this part of my journey and hopefully inspire other people out there just to keep fighting and keep going and don't give up on yourself.
Thank you so much, and inspiring you are. So thank you so much. You're giving so much courage and so much hope. And I know for everyone who's watching this video, who stumbles across this video on YouTube, just you sharing that is going to really help them. So thank you so much for doing that. Absolutely. And what I love also is how you said that, yes, God is a healer. Of course He is. Like He spared no expense for us to be healed. He sent His Son. He let Him die that horrible death so that we don't have to go through that pain or suffering. But at the end of the day, Jesus healed people in so many different ways. Some of them He just said, there, you're healed. Some of them He, put a bit of spit on their eyes, touched it, rubbed them out. So who knows how God's going to work. And we'll be praying for you as you go through this journey. And definitely thinking of you, keeping you in our thoughts and prayers. You mentioned also about your YouTube channel that you like to connect with other wives and mums. And speaking of that, there is another great series on it too, Wife Me, Mum Me. Other incredible women like yourselves. You've got PhD doctors and like all these incredible women who are like yourselves, as you define Proverbs 31 women, women who are hardworking and are focused and love the Lord and love their family and just want to be a light in their family and in the community. So that is so encouraging, because I know a lot of ladies watch this channel. So tell us a little bit more about that, because that would be great for them to watch. Guys, you've got to check out Wife Me, Mum Me, because as iron sharpens iron at the end of the day.
Yeah, we are on YouTube with Wife Me, Mom Me. It's also on my website, like everything SBB you can find on my website, and we're also on Instagram. So I basically just wanted to build a platform, like a community of women, just encouraging each other in the faith as wives and moms, because being a wife and being a mother is a great thing. And you see, like you mentioned earlier, like seeing different things glorified in social media. I want to make it known that being a wife and being a mom is a wonderful, beautiful thing. And I just wanted to build a community of women that could encourage each other. And it's based on basically just being a virtuous woman, like Proverbs 31 says. And when you read about a virtuous woman, she actually worked with her hands. She took care of her household, but she actually worked with her hands. And there's a lot that you can do now, actually from your own home, because we're in a digital age. There's so much you can do if you just have a computer. You basically have a business. You know, you can run a business from your home. And even though you're a wife and a mom, like I'm wife, but I'm still me. I'm mom, but I'm still me. Like I still have gifts and talents that God has given me and expects me to use. So I feel like God can use you right where you are. I'm a living example of that. Like I used to compare myself to others and be like, well, God, I don't have what this wife and mom has, or I don't have what this, you know, and he was like, well, use what you have, use what I've given you. So that's where all of this kind of stemmed from. Just like you said, iron sharpens iron. I love to talk to other women who are like myself. It's definitely inspiring. And it definitely, I wanted to give women the tools also. By hearing how other women do it, you kind of give other women the tools to get started, because some people are like, I don't know what to do about this, or I don't know how to start. And so by hearing somebody else say what their process was, you're like, oh, okay, I can try that, or I can do that. So it's all about uplifting, inspiring, and encouraging other women. So that's really what I wanted to do. And I have more interviews coming up with some more very powerful and inspiring women of God. So I just hope that you guys check into my YouTube channel and keep up with me.
Link below. Check it out. It's so wonderful. Like, it takes a lot for me to subscribe to a channel, to be honest, because you don't want to be getting like notifications about this and that. But that is one that I'm so glad to be a subscriber to, and I've got the notifications on now as well. So like,
awesome.
Yes. Keeping abreast. Yeah, definitely, guys, check it out. And the Wife Me Mum Me series and Diagnosis Diary series as well. Definitely excellent, excellent, encouraging and inspiring stuff there. Fantastic. Well, the name of the series is Lockdown Lowdown. So we, you know, how can we end without going into the pandemic a little bit? But yes, as you mentioned there, you know, your kids. So we were talking a little bit about how you guys have been homeschooling as well during this time, and now it's kind of on and off. So like they go a certain number of days and then they're homeschooled a certain number of days. So tell us a little bit more about that. And then I think we would end with telling everyone a little bit more about the Kobe Bear brand, because it has expanded since Shonlock's interview. You've got new things out in it. So yeah, we'll do that.
Okay, so being locked down has been an experience for my family, but it has been one that has been filled with a lot of gain. I'll say we've gained a lot since we've been locked down. Just a closeness together, and also getting to know each other even further, because actually when the lockdown here started, Shawn's mother actually moved here from Florida. Wow. So she moved in with us as well. So it was a big change at the beginning. So there's 7 of us here in this house right now, which is a lot. There's always something going on. And then, of course, the kids couldn't go back to school, so we had to switch to homeschooling. And so I have a high schooler and a middle schooler right now, and then 2 toddlers. So navigating that was an experience. My high schooler was pretty much okay, but it's very difficult for him to learn online. He is much more an in-person, hands-on type of learner. So it has been a big adjustment for him because they were strictly online. Now he goes face-to-face, and then they're off sometimes, and they still have to do most of their work online. And for my middle schooler, it was okay, but to see him have to do like PE and physical education, he would like get up from his desk and start doing jumping jacks, and like it would just be like, you know, these random things, but all the different apps that they had to download and get familiar with, and that we had to get familiar with, because I'd be like, okay, did you check this? Did you check Edpuzzle? Did you check your CTLS? Did you check this? You know, it was just so many things to keep track of. But it actually, forced us to get closer because I actually started teaching them. We started memorizing Bible verses together, and we started to have more family game nights and have more family movie nights because we couldn't go anywhere. There's nothing for us to do. So it's really bonded us like as a family, and we kind of gotten to know each other all over again because when your kids are in school and things like that, they're doing extracurricular activities. It's like you barely see each other. You don't have as many family dinners as you want to, because family dinner is a big thing for me. Yeah. But with our normal work week and school week, sometimes we just didn't get there. But over the past year, we've had family dinners, we've had quality time, we've gone on walks together, bike rides together. So for us, it's been a wonderful experience and a wonderful time for us. So, yeah.
Some great tips to take away there. I love the Bible verses and memorizing them. And guys, that's it. Just go out, go for a walk, go for a bike ride even. Fantastic. I think a lot of good things that we can take away from this, definitely. Because sometimes you just need to hear a good idea from somebody else to do it. So I hope the parents out there are listening. And cool. And so then just lastly, tell us a little bit more about Kobe Bear. So Shonlock was very nicely rocking out the brand there earlier on. Yeah. I noticed his cap and his hoodie as well. So when he was on the last time, it's such a fantastic idea, this brand that you guys have built, Kobe Bear. The idea is to encourage God's love and protection through a beautiful bear, and the idea. Tell us a little bit more about that and where we can get our hands on this.
Well, you can visit bearinmind.com. That's BEARN, the letter N, MIND.com. And you can actually look at all the merch. But he actually started the idea a while ago. Doing merch just on the road as Shonlock. He always had really cool sweatshirts and t-shirts and things like that he did, and he came up with this bear. And so he's like, I'm actually going to start putting just different phrases with the bear and things that are scripture based and encouraging and things people actually need to bear in mind. So that's where the whole brand kind of centered around. He's actually upset at me now because I don't have any bear in mind products on. Yeah, but this is the website. You can see it, Bear in Mind, and it's got the bear. Right now there's 20% off. So you guys, yes, go to the website now, bearinmind.com, and shop because you get 20% off. He also has flash sales. And it's been a really, really cool thing for us to see this business grow. It has grown so much since he first talked to you. He first came out with the COVID bear, and then he did the summer bear, and then he came out with the Pretty Girls Only. And that has just taken off. And the idea behind the Pretty Girls Only was just to let young women know that they're fearfully and wonderfully made. And he actually has the scripture on the wrist part of the hoodie and on the t-shirts. Yeah, so you guys got to check it out.
I'm so getting the kids Kobe Bear hoodies for my little cousins. Yeah, I'm going to put a link for the website in the video description below as well, guys. So definitely, they're having a 20% sale.
Yes, now's the time. You have nothing to do but shop.
Perfect. Cool. Well, Shelley, thank you so much for your time. You've got so many things going on, and you're preparing as well, with your journey as well, with your diagnosis at this stage. I don't know if I can mention the surgery. I can always cut it out.
Yeah, you can.
Okay, great. So you've got really major surgery coming up in a couple of weeks as well. So just thank you so much for your heart, for sharing, for being so loving, for putting others above yourself, and God bless you for it. And just keep being this incredible light in the world. And thank you for all that you're doing.
Thank you so much. I enjoyed my time with you. I definitely look forward to spending time with you again. You're such a beautiful woman, beautiful human being. I'm just honored to know you. And I thank God for you. I thank God for placing you in our lives, because just getting messages from you just brightens my day. It's like you just, I don't know. It's just your words. You're so kind, and you have such a beautiful spirit. So I just appreciate you so, so very much. And I'm honored to do this with you.
I love you. God bless. And until next time, peace.